The Superfish have sent us another awesome aquarium. Let's do something cool with it. We've done quite a few of the Superfish tanks now and they all look great. But this one is one of the newest releases. This is the we're all upside down, hang on. This is the Scaper 140 aquarium. So it is 138 litres, 77 centimetres by 45 by 40 high. So it's quite a sort of, I don't know, it's not quite as much height as usual, but I think that's going to lend itself to Scape really well. And I have also got the cabinet that comes with it. It's flat pack. The last flat pack I did from Superfish went together really well, so I'm hoping this one does as well. There we go, done. That took about 20 minutes, but really tidy job. It was all sort of self-explanatory, went together really well. It's, you know, fully sturdy. The doors, the top, pretty good, but they'll need a slight adjustment, but I'll wait until I've got the full, you know, the full weight on top to do that, because it's only gonna shift around a little bit. But yeah, push, what do you call those? Push help, I don't know. Soft close doors, that's what it is. So it comes with a shelf as well, and you can slide that forward actually if you need to put some pipe work behind it, and the doors will still all shut. And we've got that little hole at the back as well for more pipe work if you're going to be using a filter, and we are. So let's take a look at the tank itself and what we get with it. You already know the dimensions, but we've got some goodies as well. We have got this little sort of, it's basically like a mini canister filter that's going to do a perfect job, to be honest, for this size aquarium. You know, a hang on a back could work as well, but this will be much better. Plus you won't see any of the equipment, and it'll just be some pipes coming in. We've got a black background, which I'm not sure if I'm using yet. I might do. I might go for a clear one on this one, purely because we've got that nice white wall behind it that sort of, you know, gives it a perfect backdrop really. We've got the black of the tank next to it, so it might work quite well to have a clear one here. We have also got an awesome light. This is the Scaper LED 93, which basically means it goes from 74 to 93 centimeters, and that's going to be perfect for this size tank, and for a 3-foot as well you can put it on. You also get some liquid ferts and a CO2 carbon sort of liquid as well. So yeah, that is a fantastic sort of whole kit there to get you going. Now it's not the cheapest, it's not a budget setup, but it's not expensive either. I'd say this is really affordable. Again, another reason why I support Superfish and put like my brand with their brand is because they're so affordable, and I just like that they're bringing this concept to the masses. More and more people can just go, you know what, for that price I'll have a go. And when you can get something that's going to look as beautiful as this, there's really no reason not to. Oh, and we've got like a mat as well to go underneath. Not fish shop mat. Yeah, probably not the best way of doing this. So a good thing about the light is it comes with these sort of razors, so it can sit on the lip of the aquarium, but it also has these ones you can put on if you need it to be flush, say if you've got a hood or something like that, and it can sit inside there as well. And I don't know about you, but I think that looks proper class. It's really good dimensions, I have to say. Like, if you want something in your home and you haven't got a huge amount of room, but you've got a nice space, I'd say this is perfect. It doesn't come out too far in the room. It doesn't stick up too high. Yeah, really good job, Superfish. Okay, the tank is officially ready. Now the fun can begin. So this is going to be a tank for some of my South American cichlids. So over in this tank here, we've got some flag acara and keyhole cichlids. We've also got some different tetra as well. Now we'll be keeping some of the tetra, not all of them, but the main thing is going to be for this keyhole cichlids and the flag acara. And the reason is I want to change the scape. I'm just not enjoying it. It's way too dark. The wood that I use just constantly leaches and it just stays black, and I'm not enjoying it. I want this tank to be a massive paludarium with all plants all coming out of the top section. So that will be happening after I've taken out these fish and put them into their new home. Now with that in mind, I need to make sure that we've got quite a bit of room in here for them to swim. So I'm going to have a nice big open foreground, and I want to sort of curve it in like a, I don't know, like a beachy sort of way. The first thing going in as a base layer though is going to be Nutri-Base. You guys know I've used this a lot now. It's from Colombo. It's really good stuff. It's got like dormant bacteria, crushed lava rock, added nutrients. And yeah, it works really well. Got a little bit left in this bag. Yeah, that's not enough. Let's get a load more in. Flatten it out a little bit, but I'm not going to be perfect with it. It's just a base layer. A little bit into the foreground for some plant nutrients for any plants that want to creep. And then on top of that, a good old sprinkling of aquatic compost. Lots of you saying that you don't know where to get this stuff from. I think it's also called pond soil. So it's the stuff you use in your ponds. Basically had most, not all, of the organics floated off. Therefore, you're just left with like the nutrients that stay locked down. They're not going to sort of float up into the water column and pollute everything. And then on top of that, I've got some old aquasoil that I want to use. You can cap it with sand as well, but I found really good results when you use aquasoil, compost, and that nutri-base. I will be using sand, but more in the foreground, sort of pushed back. Now I just have to remember, where did I put the aquasoil? In there, nope. In there, nope. Ah, there it is. So I'm literally just going to pile it in for now. There's some bits of gravel in that in as well, but it's not going to hurt. This is recycled stuff, you see, from a previous setup. Take out any of the bigger rocks because they might interfere with planting and that sort of thing. Okay, now I've got sort of like a base for my hardscape to sit on, and we can arrange it to whatever heights we need as well. Push some soil back behind it, that kind of thing. And I've got this absolutely stunning piece of wood that I want to go as the main sort of focal point. So you see I can sort of put it in now and get it to balance because we've got a base. That is really nice, really dramatic. Can I tilt it a bit more? Yeah, I think I can. Not quite like that, but I think like that sort of angle. So I need some rocks to go over side of that now as well to hold it in place. And I've got these cool little river rocks that are going to suit the colour scheme that I'm going for as well. Push some of that soil back. Going to take some fiddling, but we will get there. And I can see we need another one back here. I should prop that up a little bit better. And now we've got our main piece down, I want to use that to create some more areas. So I feel like with the shape of this wood, we need something to flick up to somewhere there. And that might be enough actually, because we can use the negative spaces in the background for lots of plants. Right, I found this awesome piece, which should hopefully tie in quite nicely. It will do once I get it stuck up. I kind of like it, but it's, I don't know. It's kind of flat, the whole thing actually. Like if you come down level, it could work, but I think I want something a little bit more, I don't know, a bit more height and variation. Right, so I've tilted the whole thing up more to give us a bit more height and to really take advantage of that sexy curve that we've got going on there. That little channel underneath I think is really cool as well. It'd be like a refuge spot for the fish. We can put some low light plants like some crypts or something in there as well. I think that works. I think we just need something, just something here, just following that line a little bit more, just to build that area a bit. The other area can have negative space, that's fine. But to leave two big negative spaces, I think it'll be doing it a disjustice. So I'll just try a few other things. There we go, look, I've just added in a few more pieces in that section. Look like a different kind of wood that's just sort of lodged behind it. The sort of thing that would happen maybe in a riverway or a faster stream. It looks a little bit odd in that section because there's a gap, but that's actually a perfect place to be able to put in some ferns as well and just tie all that area together. But the good thing is 3 pieces of wood, the sort of thing that you guys can go out and afford to buy rather than, a million pieces of hardscape, some cheap rounded pebbles, and you've got your start. You don't have to do anything too complicated. I'd rather spend the money myself on the plants because they're going to just take care of everything. And now we can just go over a few more rocks in this foreground area just to sort of border it all in. There we go, I'm liking that as a sort of rough river looking base. That's the sort of look I want to go for. But now this wood needs sticking down, as usual, cyanoacrylate glue, bit of tissue paper in the gaps, and that should lock it all together, and these ones as well. So that is everything locked down now. We've got some really strong contact points on those rocks, and the wood is also stuck to the big piece of wood, which again is stuck to more rocks. So we shouldn't float. I've said this before and it has happened. I like it though. It's kind of like, it's not really classical, but sometimes it's best just not to go classical. A complete contrast, to be honest, with some of the stuff around it. You know, like the better sorority, a lot of thin sticks pointing up and smaller stones. And the new angelfish tank is completely different. Again, we went for one central big log and loads of wood all coming forward, which you can't currently see, but trust me, when I trim back all the plants and keep them sort of tight, you will see. And the angelfish in here now are really, really cool. They're just completely comfortable with me, as are all the penguins, I call them, which is the emperor tetras. Yeah, the angels are loving it. Anyway, not about that. Next job now is to add in our decorative sand that locks all of the soil and nutrients down, but also creates a nicer sort of finish in the foreground. But as you can see, I've left a load of the soil coming forward. Some people like to brush that all the way to the back and just have decorative at the front. But I want to leave it there and cap on top. Then I can put plants in and they'll creep and it'll just look really good in that front area. And I've got a really nice selection of gravel. So I've got this one here, which is like a white sort of finer one. Next to it, I've got a slightly coarse one with little flecks of black and different shades in it, which looks good. Then I've got a really coarser one that can go around all the actual stones, and that'll tie everything in real nice. We've got 3 different types. You don't have to have 3, but I've got them to hand, so I'm going to use them. There we go, look, I'm loving that. See how it just ties everything in and makes it look like it's been there for a long time. A lot more sort of natural and bonded, I guess. But now I'm excited because we can move on to the planting, and the planting's going to really bring this whole thing to life. Now I can actually adjust the light by like pulling it forwards or back, and that can add more or less shadows depending on what you want. I'll probably have it just over midway, then the back still gets lots of light. We still can have a little bit down in that bottom section where I want to put some crypts as well. And the planting for this one, I want a lot of sort of darker tones and reds, but in the foreground, I'm still going to use a load of the sort of like short green pops that you get with the Monte Carlo. And we've also got the Aereo Colon SP Vietnam. That's really good. All the plants are from Aquafleur as usual, and you can just see how lush and green they are. We've got some crypts back there as well, see? Yeah, we've got absolutely loads to choose from. Let's get going. Oh yeah, I also want to use this lotus as the main feature plant that's currently in my farm tank. That's going to be so good. So that's the foreground plants prepped. Look at that. Look at how vibrant they are. Like I say, Aquafleur. If you're interested in getting some of your own from Aquafleur, then just click the link below and it shows stockists for not just Aquafleur plants, but also for the superfish equipment as well. It'll tell you where to get everything. But now it's time to get planting. Next up, we have got Crypt Wenty Brown and Crypt Patchy. Some people like to just chop all the leaves off and just plant like the root system, if you like. But I don't like to do that. I just like to let them convert in their own time. They still look good in the meantime, and then they just get better and better and better. So lots of foreground plants in there, lots of nice textures and things like that. I'm not going to do the stems yet because I always like to fill the tank up first, but what I am going to do is fill out this log, if you like, with epiphytes and little details, some buses, anubias, maybe a little fern. I don't want too big of a fern because it will just take over that whole area. But yeah, buses definitely. Okay, looking awesome. And now it's time to fill it up and bring the background area to life. So that is looking class, and the wood didn't float. Win-win. Next up, we're going to add in the background plants. I was going to add the filter, but it's just all going to get dusty. And yeah, let's get the plants in first, then we can put the filter. Starting off with that autumn lotus plant in that back section. And here it is, though. I've just taken it out of the other tank. It's so healthy. It's a couple of dodgy leaves like that one. That's fine. We yank it off. Still got the bulb attached there, look. And on all this massive root system, which I'm going to keep actually, because it's really strong and it's converted to being underwater. Yeah, it's going to look great. Now I want it to go just behind this log. Somewhere there. Hopefully that holds. How does that look? Yeah, that looks class, and it's only going to get bigger, to be honest, as well. I still want to have something in this side, but not all the way up. Like I say, I want that negative space, because when we step back like that, it's really like beautiful having that swim area, especially when we put the fish in. We want to be able to see them as well. That is looking so good, right? The indica red, it just gives it that little pop, but it's not too much. And I like that it's all clumped together in one section rather than dotted about. So you've got very clear areas, but I want to add some more textures to that background. And I'm going to put some dwarf sage in. I've got some that's quite high growing, and I think it just add a more grassy feel to the background. Now dwarf sage is obviously renowned for its ability to creep everywhere, so we've got to stay on top of it. Make sure that when anything's creeping to the front, you nip it in the bud. No, it's not the bud. Nip it in the creepy bit. That doesn't sound quite as catchy, does it? Put some more in the middle section at the back as well. And then some on this side, which will creep through. And last but not least, I've got some Rotala macrandra to add. Just for a little pop in that corner. It'll grow up taller than that as well. And one down in this corner. So we've got a good amount of stems, which are fast growing plants. The dwarf sage is also fast growing. This is all really good for new setups because it absorbs nutrients very fast. We've got our ferns, we've got our foreground. It's time to get the filter fitted. Oh, that was a bit aggressive, but let's take a look at what we've got here. Hose, we need that. Filter, obviously need that. Inlet and outlet. So we've got some clips on the top. This is such a little filter, isn't it? I'm assuming this comes off. Oh, falling forward. Yes, it does come off. Ah, there's like a seal. Like that was actually really well vacuumed on. Little spacer on the top. We've got 1 sponge, 2 sponge, 3 sponges, and they're all like different coarses, so it goes from coarse to fine. Filter floss, and then on the bottom there's like this thingy that allows the water flow in and stops everything just, you know, compacting down. So we'll put all that back in the right order. Now obviously you can spend a bit more money if you want and buy some like expensive media to go in here, but what we've got here already will be more than good enough. So we've actually got 2 reels of pipe, which is perfect if you want to have your actual filter tucked away like I do inside the cabinet. If it was like sat next to your tank, then you'd only need a little bit, wouldn't you? But we're not doing that. Got our inlet and outlet. Oh no, it's just our outlet. And there is our inlet. And a little ball valve to stop the flow if we need to as well. Or control it at least, I guess. You can't stop it, but why would you want that? Maintenance, I guess. So it looks like we screw the ball valve to the top like that. Now this is the inlet and then the pump is the outlet. Tube going on. I can place everything inside the cabinet. So I've got our inlet connected. That's going to sit nicely over this side. It would have done, but I've put too much gravel in. So what I can do is chop the pipe slightly at the bottom so it's the right height, and then put the strainer back on. Then I'm going to slot the outlet on the other side and then just attach the spout to that downpipe. You can put it in the direction, whatever you want. Also comes with a spray bar as well if you want to use that, but I don't. Now to prime the filter, you do have to create a siphon that will then just flood the whole canister, and then when you switch it on, it'll just start pumping and sucking. Oh dear. Okay, I'm starting the siphon. Ready? Done. There we go, look. All the water's flowing in, air coming out, and we're full. We can switch it on. Now filter going on. And I've just done something dumb, which happens to the best of us. You guessed it. Put the inlet pipe on the outlet exit and the other way around. Well, so it's trying to go the wrong way. I just need to swap the pipes at the bottom. Okay, we're swapped around. We're cleaned up. This should work this time. There we go. We are working. Look, don't laugh. It happens to the best of us. When me and Matt set up the Mabuna tank behind me, he did exactly the same thing. We were just scratching our heads like, what's going on? So it's now the next day and the tank is looking beautiful. When I first came in this morning, there was a bit of a murkiness to the water. That would just be from that massive chunk of bogwood leaching a little bit of tannins and that into the water. I've done a quick water change and we're crystal clear again. And we can add some fish now. There she blows, look. Looking so good. Absolutely love that lotus just peeking over the top there. And the little hint of reds as well, which will get more and more vibrant, especially under this lighting. I will add some floating plants as well in a bit. I just want to get the fish in first. And that in itself is going to be a bit of a mission. I've only got one shot at doing it first time. And the idea will be to just put some food in the top there, 2 nets at the ready, and just scoop left and right and catch as many as I can. I should be able to catch all of the cichlids, and then I can just pick off some of the tetra that I want afterwards. Yeah, like I said, I've only really got one shot at this really. I'm just shaking that so they can all see. Tap, 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 tap. I've got my nets at the ready. I've got a bucket of water down here. Some of these plants are going to get in the way for sure. Okay, in goes the food. I've got the 2 nets. Trying to hold it against the back. Okay, I got some. Got a half decent haul there. I think we got like, oh, there's another neon. Good, buddy. I think we got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the cichlids. There's quite a few more to go. So I've caught most of them, but some of them are a little bit more clever, especially these 2 here, the keyhole cichlid and the flagacara. Oh, there's another one there as well. Basically, I need to get these plants out of the way and some of the wood, and I should be able to catch them all, like Pokemon. Right, plants are out. Now it's just the wood and some rocks as well, obviously. I am never using this wood again. So basically, oh, got to be careful. There's lots of plecos. Make sure they're all off. Basically, I got this wood from my local forest, land that was owned by a friend. And yeah, it's just not worked. This is why you should probably buy all your wood from shops. So I think I've got the majority of the fish we want to put in. Pretty sure it's all the cichlids. I might be missing 1 or 2, but they'll show more because at the moment, yeah, I can't really see what I'm doing. But we've got ottos, we've got the flash plecos as well in there that you can see with the stripes for the cleanup crew. We've got bristlenose as well. We've got our tetra and we've got our cichlids. So I've got all the fish ready to go in. I've also added a few floating plants as well. I'm going to put them all in together. I just don't want any prolonged period or stress on them. But here they go. Look at that lot in there. Out you go, guys. Whoa. And of course the bristlenose doesn't want to come out. It's okay. We can do it by hand. There you go, buddy. That looks great. Love the flash plecos. So straight away the fish are seeming rather comfortable. I mean, they're coloured up instantly as well. Look at those neons, or cardinals, sorry. And then here come the candy canes. The keyhole cichlid taking refuge in that little darker bit there. And look, there's that flash pleco. Oh, such a stunner. One of the things I love about being able to move fish just straight from one tank to the next like this is the lack of stress that they receive, because if they were stressed, as many of you seen when you bring them back from the shop sometimes, they just don't have the colour, do they? But these guys straight away, look at that, literally 5 minutes out of one tank into the next, and they already feel comfortable. They would be hiding, they wouldn't have this colour. Absolutely love that. The cichlids are being a little bit more shy at the moment, just a bit higher intelligence, I guess, but look at the spots on the keyhole, they look so good. But I really want the flagacara to come out because I want to see their colours in this sort of clear water. In the black water, it sort of dulls everything down, so I can't wait to see them when they're a bit more comfortable. Now, technically this is an uncycled tank, so now is the time to add in the beneficial bacteria. Going to put in 2 full capfuls, and that should be enough along with all these plants. Now I'm also going to be doing daily water testing, and if we get any rises in nitrites or ammonia, big water changes straight away. And I'll continue this testing and water change cycle for about a week, or as needed, to be honest. Some tanks need way less. I've had tanks before where I didn't actually need to do any water changes, but they had way more plants than this, way more stems and more floating plants. But with this one, I'll expect a slight rise in ammonia, but you do need that to cycle the tank. The beneficial bacteria that will colonize will eat essentially that ammonia and just grow and grow and grow. It'll get to an equilibrium and then no more water changes will be needed. So it's now a few hours later and the keyhole cichlids look getting a lot more brave, and we're seeing them coming into the foreground a lot more. I'm stood back with the tripod and zooming in though. Oh look, there's the long thin bristle nose just at the back getting completely comfortable. There's quite a bit of gunk on that wood, so there's going to be plenty of food for these guys to graze on. I will add algae wafers as well. Now all the keyholes are huddled in that little alcove that we created from that wood, and that's exactly what I wanted to do with it, like a little refuge for the fish. So that's working out perfectly as planned. And now we've got some of the flaggercara coming forward. Look at those blues just popping on them. I want them to come right into the light though. I really want to see the colours. The good thing is though that the fish aren't really spooked by me because they know me. I know that sounds ridiculous, but trust me, it's true. They love me. They've lost a little bit of trust because I've just scooped them out of another tank, but hopefully we'll get that back shortly. Oh, and look at that rotala at the back there. Look on the top, the tips of all of the plants. There's air bubbles. Now that is because it's oxygenating. There isn't CO2 in the tank, but I tell you what, the light from superfish, these scapo ones, they are very, very powerful. I might even have to dim it down a little bit, to be honest, because we've got such a white substrate. It might cause a slight little bit of algae, but then again with this amount of plants it might not as well. I just have to keep an eye on that. You can buy a separate dimmer that you just put in line, and it controls the percentage of the light, and also has a timer on it as well. I'll use that on one of my other tanks. And there we go, look. Keyholes exploring properly. Way more brave than the flaggercara, which is surprising because in the other tank, the flaggercara were the bosses of the tank. Although this one here that's hiding, these two actually, look, behind the candy cane tetra, they're starting to come forward a little bit more. And as I say that, one of them goes back. Getting more and more brave. Suppose I could try the tap test. Tap, tap, tap. Guys feeling that? Keyholes know what's going on, look. They know what's happening with that noise. But again, we're not seeing any flags. This guy is just staying right there in the middle, look. Better feed him just a tiny bit seeing as I've done that. There we go, look. Tetra are going to have all of that. Keyholes going for it as well. You coming out? Go on then. Let's see those colours. Yes. Yes, looking good. When I first got the flags, they were much bigger than the keyholes. But look, they're catching up. They're catching up in size. Come on, buddy. What I love about keyhole cichlids is they just look so gentle, don't they? They've got a really... They're not like flashy fish, not full of colour and that, but I just love the shape of them, that sort of curved front. Yeah, really beautiful.